Problem with the game is they need to nerf the content itself. I am fine with you nerfing me, but you have to nerf the game. What is this bullshit of 50 mobs at the same time in the screen coming at you at the speed of light? And when they hit you, they light stun you and you can attack back and boom, dead. So guys, I have a video here from Kripp that is called Kripp Reviews the new PoE 2 patch Dawn of the Hunt. I really like Kripp. I've been following him since like 2013 with the Hearthstone shit. So I really want to see what he has to say about the patch, because we know that this patch has the player base divided. People who like it, people who don't like it, and everything in between. I want to see what Kripp has to say about it, dude.
Hey guys, how's it going? Kripparrian here. It's been a while, but it's time for a Path of Exile 2 video. So there's been quite a lot of uproar in the community in regards to the new league that we got, which is like some wisps follow around and juice monsters and generally still not really drop any loot. Now, overall, I have been playing quite a lot. I'm recording this video at the tail end of my second stream, so I'm about, I don't know, 18 to 20 hours in. I have been playing minions, which is the worst build to be playing right now, and I have made it to maps. I've done a handful, maybe a little bit more than a handful of maps.
Good! Fuck minions! Guys, you know that when I say that, I am joking, dude. I am saying it on purpose to piss people off, dude. Obviously, if you like minions, it is fine. I just say fuck minions just to... Dude, over 60% of you are not subscribed. Why are you like this? Just click the button, my dude. It is quick, it is easy, it is free. You get content, I get a sub, win-win situation. Just click the sub button, my dude.
So at this point, I have a pretty good idea about the different stages in the game. Now, throughout these 2 days, they have nerfed and reverted the nerf and then re-implemented the nerf to like
Yes.
monster HP. So, you know, if you got into the league a little bit late, you may have had a bit of a different experience because, you know, it's been a bit of a messy implementation. I think they intended to nerf the monster HP, but the patch had like lots of issues.
Yep.
And then they took it back, and then I think on the second day we actually got the patch, and they basically reduced the monster HP throughout the campaign for the most part. Now, all of that, it's been a bit of a mess because early on, as many of you guys know that are watching this video, you had to make a new character if you want to play in the new league. It's generally how Path of Exile 1 is played, and it's generally the model that has made
the best way to play
the game that it is today. You make a new character, you start from scratch, and overall...
Like the case for not playing the new league is you don't have, like the 4 months of playtime are not enough for you. You have a busy life, you have a family, you have a job. The 4 months were not enough for you to clear the pinnacle content, and you really want to clear the pinnacle content. Now you want to play in the eternal realm, right? In the standard realm. That is the argument to play in there. But if you already cleared everything on the old realm, there is no reason to be playing in there anymore, right? And the best way to play the game is to go to the new realm, basically. Or normally that is the case.
You'll notice that the game is not exactly like hard. It's just like kind of a slog. Like everything just has way too much HP. Around Act 2 is about the time that it was at its worst, and I tried to kind of see about how much it would take.
Easy for me.
It took about 12 to 15.
I think it is awesome because of the builds. He was playing minions, and he's saying that minions suck right now. So I was playing crossbow, and crossbow is powerful right now. So I believe that it... Oh, I died. When I am telling you it's powerful, I out of nowhere and I don't even know what the fuck killed me. Yeah, I am trying to defend your gaming here, man. And you kill me out of nowhere. You make it hard. You make it hard. Okay. But what I was saying, crossbows are powerful, so maybe that is why I felt that it was easy. And people playing minions felt that it was harder, right?
15 auto attacks from a single minion to kill one white monster in Act 2. And
Is the undead effect of those motherfuckers killing me? It's because I killed them and then they kill me with the undead floor bullshit. What is this shit? Fix your fucking game!
I think it's important to know that I generally know how to play these type of games and set up these type of characters. Although there were a lot of changes, by the time I was in Act 2, I kind of knew what was going on. So yes, white mobs were exhaustively hard. I did have a lot of slow boss kills in Act 1. The slowest boss kill was about a 12-minute kill on the Act 2 boss. But again, I didn't die. I actually had my first death in Act 3 to the Colossus because he one-shotted me in a spot where I thought he couldn't hit me just like randomly. Yeah, you're dead. And by the way, that fight also took like 10 minutes. Now, they said that they, walked back a lot of the monster HP, so probably if you're playing now, it won't be quite as bad. I also checked out a bunch of other streamers, and generally speaking, it looks like minions have been hit the hardest with nerfs, and warriors have been hit the least with nerfs. Now, you might be saying that your warrior and your hammer user feels really terrible, and it feels much worse than last patch. That's true, yes, but we're talking about pretty objective measures. If you look at the ladders, like in the hardcore ladder, like 10 of the top 10 is playing warrior. So
awesome. That is where warriors deserve to be, on top, bitch. Warriors deserve to be on top. What was that bullshit that warriors suck? No. Warriors need to be on top. I like that.
There's not really much to argue here. Early on, it seems like they are the fastest, they are the best. Yes, everyone is feeling the nerfs, but it looks like Hammer, Warrior, and a few like Ballista builds, and a few of the bug tornado interactions that are now fixed were some of the other outliers. Now, overall, the game state is just kind of in bad balance mixed with just really slow. I'm talking about like pretty big differences in balance. Like while it took a minion about 15 hits to kill a white monster, and certainly some time, and all my minions are getting pretty much one-shotted by anything at that point in the game, even though I've invested about 100% minion life on the passive tree. Warriors, I saw Karn, even during the campaign, he would just one-shot most of the screen using his movement skill. So,
a Rogue Exile. Let's fight the Rogue Exile. Look how I kill this bitch. Brother, don't heal, bitch. There it is, easy. You gave me away this same fucking item. I don't want that item, dude. The Rogue Exile plus mobs. I deleted that shit. And people told me the Rogue Exiles were hard. Hey, he hit hard with the perfect strike, by the way. I got scared for a second because the perfect strike he does hits hard as fuck. I'm halfway to Act 2. It seems harder now than it was at early access launch. It has to be related to the build, of course, 100%. Like I didn't feel. I mean it in the way that I didn't feel the difference because maybe of the character that I was playing. But there are a lot of people saying that, so I didn't experience it because of that, and you guys obviously are experiencing it. So I get it. I agree with Kripp so much when he said the game isn't hard. It is just a slog. Okay? So people just find it too long. I have to do the same shit and it is boring and I have to dodge and hit the same motherfucker 20 times. It is not fun. Okay, I get it, man.
Massive differences in power, and we'll kind of have to see where that ends up. But everyone was feeling the slog, everyone was feeling the slow gameplay with a lot of the really OP stuff nerfed, with a total reset if you're playing in the new league. It's slow. It really is. Now, before I get into other parts of the video, I think it's important to kind of talk about what Path of Exile 2 is supposed to be as a game. They kind of implemented a lot of soul-like.
Brother, if you know that, tell me, because we are still trying to figure out what they are trying to do with the game. Do you want me to be fast? Do you want me to be slow? Do you want me to do combos? You want me to one-shot everything? Because on one side you tell me, no, I want you to be slow by making me slow, but then the mobs are cracked and going 200 miles per hour. So there is a contradiction in there. I want you to do combos, but then the payoff for the combos is bullshit, and going hard on one skill is better. And also because of the mobs are cracked. Again, a lot of issues tied to the mobs being cracked. So they need to decide. You want the slow, meaningful combat, or you want one tap, one click, destroy shit. I think they are trying to aim for a little a spectrum in there that it is not that big of a target, and it is hard to pull off. But they need to make it clear, because we really don't know. We are speculating at this point. What I mean is, Act 1 was hard for me on early access launch, and the rest went smooth. This time around, Act 2 seems tougher than Act 1. Okay, I get it. You know what is also related to that problem? The problem that everybody is talking about relating drops. If you didn't get anything strong or useful, then you drop off in Act 2 because you didn't upgrade, and everything else upgraded, right? So it is a pain in the fucking ass. So yes, basically they need to decide what they want to do with the game. We think we know, but we are speculating. We don't really know unless they tell us. Cisaran said that in the interview that he's going to have with them next week, or I don't remember the date, but he's going to have a podcast with them. He said he's going to ask them this question. And hey, that is the best fucking question you can be asking them right now. Like, what the fuck is this supposed to be? Tell us what is the vision. We are always memeing about the vision. What is the vision? Tell us what is the vision. Right? We need to know what the fuck the vision is.
Elements with active block, now with active parry, with the dodge
Nobody
roll,
wants to parry, by the way. I am still on the hill that nobody wants to parry. Before Carlos says to me, I am parrying, whatever. Fuck parrying, dude. Nobody wants to parry.
Just boss mechanics that you can typically avoid if you're, quick and good enough. Investing in a character to have to
I knew I was going
tank.
to fucking die in that one. It was my fault because I had to get out. But no, I had to throw the grenade because I had to throw grenades. Motherfucker.
Certain aspects, it's not like PoE 1 in that sense. PoE 1 also has scaling of speed. PoE 2 doesn't really have that, even if you get a whole bunch of attack speed. It really isn't movement speed, by the way. A lot of abilities are kind of locked behind a +1 second timer. The attack speed does not apply to that 1 second, so you just can't get that much faster even if you heavily invest in it. It's just that kind of game. But what kind of game is it really trying to be? It's kind of difficult, right, to say that it is like a Soul-like game, because as I've seen many people on Reddit point out, a game like Dark Souls, which is what people call a Soul-like games, people who are really good at that game can beat the entire game in an hour and some change without even getting hit, and they're just two-tapping most of the monsters along the way. No, it kind of is that PoE is more of a sluggish game than that. Even the best players are typically not doing that. Nobody is doing the campaign in an hour and some change. It's just impossible. I feel that it's not necessarily right to criticize the kind of game that PoE 2 is supposed to be. I think they're still kind of figuring that out, truly.
I agree with that.
But
I
do feel like the thing that they're kind of gravitating towards is not really compatible with playing a new character every 3 to 4 months. I think there is a bit of an issue there where the slow, methodical combat of killing white monsters.
You know what? You present a good argument in there, Art, and I will tell you that the problem is because of the market they are targeting. Let me explain. You say, why is the only thing that people say is fun is speed? I agree with you. There are a lot of stuff that is not fast, that is fun as fuck. For example, something that I played a lot when I was a kid, chess. Unless you are playing Blitz, which is 1 minute on the timer, boom, 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 boom. You are playing even without a clock with a friend. That shit is slow as fuck, but it's very fun. You could also say, I don't know if you guys play Civilization 6, Civilization 5. That shit is slow as fuck. And it is really fucking good. So you will say, yes, but there are people, that is because there are people that like those genres. We are ARPG players and we like to zoom, kill. That is the thing, right? GG is making PoE 2, trying to slow it down. But audience for the game that are trying the game come with a perspective of we like fast stuff. And they get loud when they are not getting what they want. And I understand it. I understand it. I think EA didn't make clear or hasn't made enough clear. They had said that they wanted it slower, but they hasn't made it 100% clear what the vision is. They need to let us know what the vision is, so people stop fucking saying that the game is too slow, because they will know 100% for sure that that is what they want, and they can just decide, hey, if it is going too slow, it is not the game for me, right? I don't know. I don't know. Or if they want to, they can also say, we are trying to get into a midpoint where you start slow, you get faster, stuff like that. We are just trying, they need to say, we are trying to hit the target, we are missing the mark, but we are trying to get there, give us time. Right? Communicate this stuff so people stop complaining so much. That sometimes, I don't know if the word is complaining, because it is not complaining in a bad way every time. Sometimes it is valid criticism that people are giving, right?
In a dozen hits on your way through the acts, I think that kind of works, but not so much if you expect people to make a new character from scratch doing that every 3 or 4 months. And the League model, the reset model, has really worked out in Path of Exile 1 so well. It's why the player base has been built up over the years. I don't know if they're really willing to drop that. So I think there is going to be a bit of tension between these two things, where they're trying to make a slow, methodical game, but they want you to constantly make new characters every few months. I just don't think those are on the same track right now. And where that's going to end up, I don't know. I do imagine they're going to try to wiggle through and see where it ends up in a place that they like, probably.
I do think that if you have time to play, of course, we already discussed the people that don't have enough time to play because of responsibilities. But if you play a reasonable amount of time, you can even play I played several characters in the first season. And don't tell me what you play all the time. Dude, I have also a full-time job. I have to edit videos, to do stuff. Believe it or not, I don't play as much as a lot of people that don't make content about the game, right? So, and I had time to level several characters. So the seasonal model definitely can fit this game. Of course, depending on how far they take it. If it is how it is right now, definitely. And people are figuring out ways of being faster, dude. Like that warrior guy did the campaign in 2 hours. It is definitely possible, right? I know you are not going to do it in that time, but what I am meaning is that people figure out the strategies and tips and stuff to do this stuff faster. I do think that the game fits a seasonal model. It definitely does. I think people's playtime, your 20 hours to their 20 hours will vary how far they get. That is also true. That is also true. Definitely 60. That is true, of course. That is true, of course.
It is difficult to say because they made a game that's much slower, and then in the first 2 days immediately nerfed the health of monsters. Ultimately, that was the right thing to do because it was just kind of boring. It took a really long time to get through the acts, and again, I know what I'm doing as a player. And again, I want to emphasize this. It's not a matter of difficulty. I was not dying, okay? It's like it just took 3 to 5 times longer to do the same stuff as it did a few months ago. If you multiply monster health by 10, yes, it's going to be a little bit harder, but it's not going to be 10 times harder. So that's kind of where we're at. Now, in terms of balance, different skills, different builds got hit in different ways from the giant.
And that is why I always tell you guys, you need to nerf the monsters, because what happened was they didn't multiply the mob's health by 10. What they did was nerf our damage, and then when we engage with the monsters, if you don't nerf the monsters themselves, they are going to feel like they are 10 times buffed, right? In terms of health, because I am weaker, and they didn't get nerfed too. I always tell you the problem with the game is they need to nerf the content itself. I am fine with you nerfing me. Cool, I don't care. But you have to nerf the game. What is this bullshit of 250 mobs at the same time in the screen coming at you at the speed of light? And when they hit you, they light stun you and you can attack back and boom, dead. What the fuck is that?
Nerfs that we learned about, by the way, like a day before it came. I know they had patch notes, but their patch notes were largely incomplete. We really had to kind of dive through the new gems and the data mine info, and for most people, that was hours before the league actually released. There was very limited ability to plan out what you were going to do this league. And yeah, it was just wild that it was so last minute. In terms of minions, now that I have played it throughout the entire campaign, I've taken a look at all the minions. Just a quick report. I know some of you guys don't care about minions, but I think it's important to kind of
Fuck minions.
Have you guys understand that the balance here is a mess. So people told me that their Infernalists that were using the Arsonists, the one that throw the bombs, their tooltip was down 90% from the patch. Now, I can't personally confirm this, but I have heard of figures that they were down about 70% of their damage, to the more extreme case, losing 90% of their damage. But on top of that, you're able to summon fewer of them because there's loss of spirit from a multitude of different ways. Now, I might
That is one of the nerfs that I don't understand, dude. For example, the shield that gives you, used to give you 50 spirit, the Oxford shield, whatever. It is a shield that is made like from a tree. Why did you take away the spirit from that shield? The spirit was the only thing that made that shield useful. Nobody's going to use that shield without the spirit, motherfucker. What the fuck? Like you say, these motherfuckers are on methamphetamines. Yes, they are. Yo, cappuccino, my dude, how you doing? Yes, I am yapping. You know I am a yapper.
be able to recoup that with different gearing and stuff. I don't know. But yes, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about up to 90% nerf in damage, meaning that you'd have to multiply your current damage in the game right now by 10 to be about as strong as you were in the previous patch. I've also been told that people with like some of the craziest Infernalist minion setups in the game are now barely able to clear tier 15 maps. Again, I'm sure there's some wiggle room in optimization that could be done given that the game has changed quite a bit. And honestly, Arsonist may not be the best minion. The minions are all pretty closely tied together in terms of balance and usefulness. There's merit to each one, which I think is pretty cool, except for Reavers. And I just want to give you guys a scale of where the damage lies. So on a level 18 gem with only a few minion passives, not that many, like 50 minion damage, the Reaver max hit, again on a level 18 gem, was 45.
What the fuck, brother?
It's the lowest damage minion. The next lowest does like 80, by the way. It's like the...
That is stupid as fuck, dude. Like yes, they also miss. Not only because maybe in their even philosophy, that is something that also people miss. Yes, they want to slow the game down. Okay, they want to do it. But maybe they just missed the mark in terms of balance. They didn't want it to be this bad, probably. We don't know if they didn't want it to be this bad. We don't know, right? So maybe that is a case. Like it is doing at level 18, 45 damage. There is no way in hell that is intended, dude. That is just a mistake. There is no way in hell that is intended, brother. You only summon 2 Raging Spirits per cast now instead of 5. That is a big nerf. Give me the 5, just increase mana multiplier. Okay, okay. And Raging Spirits is one of the best, how do you say this, tools a minion build has leveling up, dude. I honestly think they just don't like minion builds. You are just big chilling doing nothing. Hey, if they don't like minion builds, first of all, they should have not put minions into the game, right? And second, if they don't like it, they are fucking base. Fuck minions! Again. It is a joke, but I am serious. But it is a joke. But fuck minions.
the Arsonist. 45, and it's pure physical. So that means that, you know, yeah, you're going to scale that up, but not that many times over. It's PoE 2. The multipliers are pretty reasonable. You're going to scale it up to a point where it's maybe like a few hundred. The thing is, while monsters still have armor, now have a little bit less armor, they still have several thousand armor. Like that 45 damage baseline from a Reaver, it's going to be 4, because monsters with any amount of armor are going to reduce it by 90%. So Ravers are just completely bricked. They're just absolutely
Useless. They are useless.
unusable. So
Exactly.
just really weird things with balance that I've seen. And we have a pretty big news this patch was that Spectres are coming. Now, I didn't know this initially, but Spectres, they have different costs based on each Spectre. And there's about 500 monsters in the game, so it's kind of, wow, they actually added Spectres for 500 monsters. Well, I learned that this is not exactly true. They did not go and hand select the different spirit costs for each Spectre. They basically used some kind of formula that factored in how much experience a monster would grant if you killed it and how much loot, and basically equated some kind of cost based on that formula. And generally speaking, they probably took that cost and doubled it, because I have so far found one Spectre that it's worth its spirit versus the skeletons. And because it's just one of several hundred that people have tried, almost certainly this Spectre would be nerfed instead.
And it is the Valguard. It has to be the Valguard. Or the Valborg, whatever the fuck it is called.
Instead of the other 490 coming up to its power level. Now, it's really wonderful because even having one usable Spectre, it's kind of like having an entirely new minion skill, which is amazing, which is why people were so hyped about the Spectre skill. But again, I want to give you guys, if you halved the cost of the other, 30 Spectres that I tried, and I tried really some of the best ones because I was looking up their stats, if you cut their cost in half, they're still a little bit over cost for the most part. So I just don't understand it. For such an important and meaningful skill, for such a cool ability that would get people and really thinking about their characters, and content creators would go.
This is true, by the way. This is one of the reasons why Blizzard never allows, or try to never allow, Beastmaster Hunter, for example, in WoW, to be bad. Why? Because it is the most played class. You need to keep the people that play that shit happy, because there are a lot of them, right? So if people are excited about this shit, you don't have to make it insane, but make it viable, make it usable, right? The same goes to the Tame Beast shit that they released, that you can capture a beast. The same goes for that too. I agree with that too. I was excited for Quadrilla, then I wasn't, lol. Exactly my point, dude. Okay.
Go crazy making content about all the usable Spectres and combos. It's like it wasn't even close to that. Why not just spend 1 day? If I had to do it, it would take me 1 day to kind of review each of the Spectres, maybe try them for a few minutes, and then assign a fairly appropriate spirit cost. Why didn't that happen? I don't know. The fact that
because
the patch notes were so late, it just kind of, it feels like this whole patch is just really last minute, all of it. So many things seem like they kind of, got through.
There was one of the Reddit posts that I agreed with, and I did it somewhere in one of my videos, is that the patch feels like it should have been delayed. But at the same time, we were asking for a patch. 4 months without content. We need content. But it does feels, the patch feels, and I am defending the game. I think the game is awesome. I like it a lot. And I do agree that the patch feels like it should have been delayed. Not even because of the nerfs and the power, but because of performance issues, bugs, stuff that is not working like how it should, stuff that seems like not much thought went into it, stuff like that, right?
The cracks, and so many things felt like they should have gotten a lot more attention than they obviously did. I also want to point out a few experiences that I had on my journey with my character. So the first map that I did, it's not like a quantity system in the maps. It was a 60 rarity map. Basically, my very first map, Waystone or whatever, it was a 6 mod rare Waystone. Okay, I put it in. I'm like, let's get some loot. Okay, it was Seepage, which is a massive map. It is huge. There's just hundreds of monsters in there, right? So 60 rarity. I also have a rarity on my character, on its gear. And I got like even the wisps.
By the way, fuck rarity, all my homies hate rarity, delete that shit from the game. What you have to do, GG, is delete rarity and put like the drops in the game, the base drops, like if you have 500% rarity. And that is what you need to do. Put the base drop at 500% rarity and delete rarity from the game, because we know that drops need a little bit of a buff, right? So put the drops at 500% rarity, delete rarity. Everybody's happy. I promise you, everybody's happy. Rarity sucks dick. All my homies hate rarity.
I got like some of the wisp monsters down. The entire map dropped no rare items. Now, it was a little bit of an anomaly.
Put the fucking crafting bench back in the game. That is another request that people have. I really didn't play with the crafting bench a lot in PoE 1, so I don't know what, hey, if people are saying that it needs to be in here, it needs to be in here. Put the crafting bench back.
I've done other maps, and I did get some rare items in those. But I just want you guys to understand here. I killed hundreds of monsters with 60 rarity on top of like the 20 rarity my character had. And most importantly, I did a strong box that was also rare, that had like 8 extra packs. And the strong box, that it dropped no items. Okay, it dropped
and that is
0 items,
that is
which is insane. I've also had some strong boxes in the campaign. I had a rare one that had both quantity and rarity, and it dropped a single white item. I also had a strong box that said it would drop a unique item, and you know what it dropped? 1 chance shard. It did not drop a unique item, even though it said that it would. So, like, you know, it's like really bizarre stuff. It feels like this stuff barely passed like a once over in QA and launched. That's basically where I'm at. And for a game as anticipated and so long in the works as Path of Exile 2, that just doesn't seem right to me. Right?
That is bullshit.
It feels like if they really needed like an extra couple of weeks to make this patch happen, they probably should have just taken an extra couple of weeks.
Yep.
Or I don't know. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but yeah. On top of all of that, I am having a reasonable amount of fun just checking out the game again, but I also want to point out that it's not like way different. A lot of the time in Path of Exile 1, when you'd have a new league, you'd also have like a new league mechanic that would be very significant and change your gameplay to a point where it just feels fresh and you have real new challenges to look forward to. The whole Wisp stuff is basically junk. They basically have a...
I agree with this, and I told you guys this when they released the information for the patch, that I told you that at the moment of the announcement, I felt it was underwhelming. I know that it was also because I was not getting the druid. I know that it was because of my own expectations. But at the same time, I felt it was underwhelming because there was no new pinnacle content. The Wisp is not a pinnacle content encounter, dude. I wanted something like fighting the king in the mist, something like that, right? And we didn't get anything like that. So yes, that is what it felt like. I am having fun. It is fucking awesome. But at the same time, I am playing the same game with a little bit of a different thing added on top, but not necessarily like changing the game a lot. I just did a strong box earlier that I used a Regal and 4 Exalted and got 4 Orbs of Augmentation. But that is, you just destroy your currency. Now, I ask, if you do that in PoE 1, you are like guaranteed to get something better than you put in, or it is like a gamble. I was very surprised the bestiary wasn't in. I was too. Then not dropping looks make them pointless. Exactly. And we have been complaining about the Strongbox a lot. I know we first complained about the speed. Like you click the Strongbox and you have to wait 10 years. But also they are not rewarding. By the way, am I the only one that thinks that the mechanic is just boring? Oh, there is a box in here. I am going to click the box. Monsters spawn around the box, and then I take what is in the box. That is just boring. Like, that is not a cool mechanic imagination-wise, right? But okay, it is in the game. We already have it. At least make it good, right? At least make it good.
way too much health, and it's the tormented spirits of PoE 1. Nothing really interesting at all, in my opinion. Also, while I am pretty early in the mapping system, the maps, it's just, again, the maps are huge. Man, I feel like the maps are bigger than before. We'll probably see if this is true a few weeks from now when people get too bored of actually playing the game. But man, the few maps that I've done feel colossal. The gameplay loop isn't really that different than last season, which is something that you're actually looking for.
It is the same gameplay loop. The cool thing that I can see that it is in the Atlas skill tree is that now you can use your essences, your strong boxes, and the rogue exiles. That I have to say, I have fought 2 rogue exiles so far, and I am liking it a lot. So if you can really focus on rogue exiles, that sounds like fun. Now the thing is, if it is rewarding enough to be focusing on that, I don't know. But it's fighting rogue exiles is fun. I have to think I fought them after the nerf because they were killable. I have heard that before the nerf they were unkillable.
When you play a new league, at least in Path of Exile 1. And yeah, there's just so many issues that I'm sure they'll address at one point. But man, the last big launch of PoE 2 was was that 3-4 months ago? It's been a while. I was just kind of hoping for a little bit better.
That's why we wanted the patch, because hey, it has been a while. And then people say, in 4 months, this is what you give me. I also understand that perspective because I was expecting the Druid. Then you only release the Huntress, and it feels, the people that have been played, I have not played the Huntress, but people say that the Huntress feel like it is also undercooked. So what the fuck, man? What are you doing? What are you doing? Bro, you gotta understand this game is like a casino. Also, that guy complains more than a McDonald's employee. Oh, that guy is Kripp. You don't know Kripp, dude. There are Atlas points that allow for more exiles with rogue exiles. More encounters with rogue exiles. Exactly, that is what I'm talking about. That looks fucking awesome, dude. That looks fucking insane. I really fucking want to focus on that, but I don't know if for SSF it is good, right? Because maybe dropping uniques that you can't trade away, it is not the way to go. But it looks like fun fighting the rogue exiles. Good morning, brother. Yo, Ace, my dude. How you doing, brother?
That's where I'm at. I'll still be playing. If you're curious, we do have the new minion army build. If you want to see what I'm playing, this is it. I have fully updated the guide on Mobalytics, so I'll leave a link for you guys that in the description below. A video.
That is why people complain about this bullshit game. I killed the motherfucker and I die out of nowhere. Motherfucker, there was a regal child there in the floor. And now this is lost and the mobs spawn back. That is why people complain about this shit.
Video will be coming for the build guide, but I do want to do a little bit more mapping and try a few more things as people are really exhaustively trying some of the specters right now. And yeah, I'll let you know how it goes. But for now, that's where we're at. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.
It was a good video, definitely. It prompted us to talk about the state of the patch and the game and all of that. And you guys know that I am having fun, I am loving it, but I also understand the problems. I do think that it was probably rushed, but at the same time, rushed 4 months after the patch. I don't know what is happening over in GGG. I do think the game is awesome, and it can and probably will get to a good state in the future. Let's hope it does happen. I am still enjoying the game very much. But I understand the other side too. But the thing that I really didn't care about, guys, you know that I don't give a fuck about minions. Maybe I should, maybe I should try minions to see what is happening with minions. What do you guys think? Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I a clown? Am I a genius? Let me know everything in the comments below. I love reading comments even when they don't agree with me. Remember also to like the video, to subscribe to the channel, all that cool stuff. Guys, thanks for being here. You guys are fucking awesome. God bless ya. And remember, don't be afraid ever, because this is just a ride.